4 games, 1 story, and sister location being the clue between them all. Now, what would this be doing in the video like this? Like, what is the relevance? It's fake. It's all fake. Okay? Now, it is very obvious that there is a lot about the Fazbear past that we do not know about. Secret of the Mimic made that very clear. So I am going to try my best to make you all understand why the first few videos that I've made about the 5 games were absolutely a waste of time, but yet also relevant. And that is where it gets tricky. So stick with me on this one and let us begin. So starting off with not necessarily my favorite character, but it would be now my favorite one to use, Cadet. We are first introduced to the stories that he tells through Pizzeria Simulator. And I would like to go through every single story he has with all of you and help you understand why I believe his stories are related to the first 5 games.
Now I will tell you a story about a young woman who was sealed in a small room. In the room was a furnace and 5 keys. She was told that each of the 5 keys would unlock one of 5 doors outside her room. Inside each room was a child that she could take with her as she fled the building. But she was only allowed to leave her own room with 1 key, not all 5. Desperate to find a way to save all 5 children, the woman melted the 5 keys together in the furnace to create a single key, hoping it would unlock all 5 doors. But, of course, it did not work that way. Now her key opened none of the doors. Rather than leaving her room with a key to 1 life, she had taken with her the key to 5 deaths.
We're all pretty aware of the Cadet stories, but let me tell you my perspective on it.
Let me tell you the story of Mike, a man forced to live in the shadows, hired by a company who was the only ones that knew of his existence, given a chance to tell his tale, with the promise of helping him free the souls tortured for so long, telling his side through games that others could play, hoping these 5 games would tell one story, a story of the true horrors through his eyes, only to realize that the one company who hired him was not happy with his work, but could not undo his story. They used it against him, recreating his work as one big show for the masses. Now Mike only has 1 story left, but will never be able to tell it, as it will be the very tale of his grave.
What could be the 5 keys? That's the 5 games, the 5 different stories that were supposed to be used to unlock the history and understand the horrors of the past.
Now I will tell you a story about a kind man who would visit 5 orphans and bring them toys and gladness. The man lived alone and lived in fear that someone might break into the house of one of the 5 children. So he adopted all 5 and brought them together in one place in his own home. He promised them to never leave them, and they promised to always come home and never stay out too late. He left one day to buy food, his heart being filled with gladness, but returned to find that the burglar had chosen his home and killed all 5 of the children. The man could only afford 1 coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one, and buried the child. That night, there was a knock at the door.
Let me tell you a story about a business, one whose reputation was on the line. Learning of a man that knew about the company before it got slandered, they took him in, requesting his help, expecting their reputation to be safe. Little did they know of the deeper horror to actually be true, being in as much trouble that they already were. They could not afford to cover up what has now seen the light, so with the little bit of what they had left on the side, they decided to do one last thing. Instead of hiding this knowledge, they used it, twist it, and turn it into something that they could control. Now they had their hands on the wheel again, and people liked it. Soon enough did the money flow again, and new opportunities.
Those orphans that they tried to care for is actually just Fazbear Entertainment's reputation. Trying to take care of it and protect it only for it to be slandered and dragged through the mud even more. So what else is there to do when you basically can't afford for anything but to coin it, to cash in on everything that it is.
Now I will tell you a story about a little boy. He had a red snake that he kept in a metal cage whose hunger could not be satisfied. One day, the boy found 5 baby kittens outside his house. He brought them inside and kept them in a shoebox. He knew that the snake might kill them, but could not bring himself to get rid of the snake. He knew that if he chose one kitten to feed to the snake, it might be satisfied, but he could not choose. So he went to bed. Leaving the cage open, the snake went to the shoebox, chose a kitten at random, and ate it. After 5 nights had gone by, the boy was full of regrets and cut the snake open. He pieced the remains together and put the kitten back into the shoebox.
Let me tell you a story of a company who had a bad reputation. One day they found a group of people that could help them. The company knew that their reputation would still continue to grow. Not knowing how to hide it, they left it in the hands of the group. A short time has passed and the group's project failed. The company knew it had to do with their reputation. So they gathered everything that there is and tried to repair it. Only now it would be different. And so they used it as a side project to still keep them afloat.
So, short and sweet. The group that they encountered, or the people that created the Fazbear Fright location, F3, wonderful spring traps, home and place of burning, which, well, yeah, that's where it went wrong. So Fazbear Entertainment tried to recoin, tried to rebrand, tried to fix it again, but in a different way. Henceforth, the Fazbear Frights books. Yes, I believe the books to be an in-universe thing. If you don't know how, I would love to explain it, so let's get into that. We know F3's location to be made because of all the rumors and the history that Fazbear Entertainment has. Now, I believe that the books to be exactly the same. After the location burnt down, they decided to make storybooks instead. So in the story, To Be Beautiful, we are reading about Scrap Baby. It's a rumor about a female-looking clown animatronic, white with pigtails and a red dress. And she's putting herself together with scrap pieces of metal. Now, in the book, she is building a body for somebody else and not necessarily herself. But as per the rumors, you won't necessarily know that 100%. All that they do know is that people go missing or people just don't act the same. And now we know with the illusion discs that Baby could be disguising herself as multiple other people. But all of that is again just per rumors, and that fact gets mixed in with a few other stories as well, the illusion discs and all that. But this is Scrap Baby. And in the count of the ways, yeah, if you hear about a location with animatronics specifically made to kidnap and kill kids, you kind of have the idea on could be done in multiple ways, so count the ways. Oh, come on, out of stock? Do I really have to? It's Plush Trap. In Sister Location Nightfall, I always wondered how Mike actually escaped the suit. What I would like to believe is that an employee found him, and there was probably a mini arena or two with him in the suit. Therefore, the whole rumor of the animatronic mini arenas climbing into the employee could be from the tale of finding the mini arenas inside the suit with Mike that was an employee. Yeah, rumors being understood incorrectly. That's Fazbear Frights for you. The new kid. Springlock suits that are hypersensitive and usually used to kill kids and stuff them inside. Yeah, that's it. A dancing animatronic from a company that was made to lure and capture kids. Wow. Now, in Coming Home, I believe this might sound like a bit of a stretch, but I feel this could be a misunderstanding of the rumor where the spirits of the kids that were killed has a strong attachment to do something or want something, but they themselves do not know why or can't even remember themselves. The real Jake can be a little bit twisty and difficult to understand completely, but considering all the timelines that there are, Secret of the Mimic does take place way before FNAF 1 to 5. meaning that Edwin Murray that ended up creating the mimic and pouring all his agony and emotions into it, which also is part of his tale in the trilogy books, with Charlie's father, Henry, pours all his emotions into the little Emma doll and brings it to life. No, none of these animatronics are actually haunted by a soul. They are just brought to life by pure emotion and care. I wouldn't really know much about you guys, but in hide and seek, I got the feeling this is more about the rumor of a man, Michael, being haunted by his father's past, unable to get rid of it as it sticks to him wherever he goes. And the only way you can get rid of it is when he eventually dies. That is when he realizes that, hey, he is now free. He has won. He can do what he needs. In the breaking wheel, I would expect either one of two things. The kids being stuffed into the animatronics and their bodies being mangled as the machine moves, and they just stay there. Or it is about the spring-lock suits and the rumors of them being wearable, and once they snap, their bodies get mangled. Now, in the What We Found story, if this isn't a dead ringer to cover up all the rumors around the F3 events, then I don't know what is. The puppet carver, Edwin Murray, anyone? Is the pizza kit, as far as it's a stretch, bodies disappearing, never being found, it kinda, they become food. This is a theory for another video. Together forever, another rumor about the Springlock animatronics. And it could also include Golden Freddy being two spirits. The scoop? Michael Afton knowing/figuring out all his father's deadly deeds and trying to help the kids find closure by creating 5 different games. So, the Fazbear Fright books are just rumors. They are stories told differently without the full details and context of the actual events, as per any myth and rumor, as the books are. So, yes, there are other stories that I did not mention here, some of them relating to future events, but that is not relevant to this video. So, summarizing everything that I have played for you guys, and right now, the Candy Cadet stories that we see in Pizza Simulator, they are not about the MCI or the DCI kids. 5 things becoming one. Yeah, sure, it can sound like the kids being melted together and the animatronics being used, as we also see in the trilogy books that it does happen in the 4th closet, that William does melt the animatronics and they all become one amalgamation. But this is not the case. This is more of telling a story that is more acceptable for the public about a company and a person trying to create things separately, but it ends up being messed up, so they need to rejoin it, creating one thing instead. Then fourth, we see the 5 different separate games, and then in Help Wanted, we see them all in one singular game. Yet, we cannot take everything given to us as true and honest. Because this is all, the games specifically, is all out of the view of Michael's eyes. And most stuff is being swept under the rug by Fazbear Entertainment. Kinda confusing a lot of details. And Secret of the Mimic itself, its release, and the events and timeline is literally throwing a wrench into everything that has been built so far, telling us, no, we don't have all the full details. So, this, what we have known so far, is just the partial truths. Because Fazbear Entertainment did hire a game developer, which I believe to be Michael, creating the games, telling his stories. They didn't like it that much because they didn't know that it was actually so horrifying as it was, and tried to ignore it, tried to sweep it under the rug. and yet they still can't get rid of every single detail. Now, there are things that happen in the games that do not happen in Help Wanted, which I will get into again in a later video, as per my first 5 videos that I've said that I will talk about the Shadow animatronics and Golden Freddy in their own separate video, because that gets into deeper territory that I still need to flesh out fully, because giving you guys so far what I have, it's not going to be satisfying. And yet I believe my video is also not going to be satisfying when it does come out. So, 5 games becoming 1. The truth being so horrifying, they had to rebrand, recreate it. They tried doing that, it burned down, F3. And so they again rebranded, and there we have the books. Now, with all of that said, I hope it was short and sweet enough for you guys to understand, because I know I understand it, because I'm the one making the video. So, leave a like if you like this theory, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you stay tuned for the next video. I promise it's gonna be about Golden Freddy and the Shadow animatronics. I am not going to tease you guys any longer about that, so stay tuned, because after that, I'm going to explain to you guys why I believe Fazbear Entertainment to be continuing William Afton's work.